I'm Jeff Gonzalez, president of Trident Concepts, and today I'm here with Brownells Daily Defense to talk to you about rifle manipulations. In specific, we're going to be talking about M4 AR-15 rifle manipulations. So the first thing I want to do is review the firearm safety rules. Rule number 1, all firearms are always loaded. Rule number 2, keep the firearm pointing in a safe direction. Rule number 3, keep your trigger finger on the home position until you're ready to fire. And rule number 4, be sure of your target and what is beyond. The other thing I'm going to encourage you to do is pull out your owner's manual and read it from cover to cover. A lot of times you're going to find very important information, plus your firearm may be slightly different from mine, and therefore it would be helpful for you to learn a little bit more about yours in specific. Next, what I want to do is cover all the controls that we have on a standard M4 AR-15. We're going to start on the right-hand side, and the first thing I'll cover is the forward assist button. So what this is used for is, should the bolt not go fully into battery, you can use this to push it forward into battery. Next, we have the magazine release. If I need to remove the magazine, whether the gun is empty or I'm going to unload it, I need to push in on this particular feature. The other thing that you'll see is the charging handle. When I need to actuate the bolt, I'm going to pull back and release to make the bolt go forward. On the left side of the firearm, we have a few more controls, starting with the bolt catch. The bolt catch is used to lock the action open, whether you're unloading or you need to do some sort of administrative feature. Next, we have the safety lever. This is what will allow the firearm to be placed in a safe condition or, when ready to fire, on fire. The only other feature that we have is the actual trigger itself, and that is protected within inside that trigger guard. So, now that we've kind of talked a little bit about the features and controls that you have on a standard M4, let's talk about how we would actually manipulate the firearm. I'm going to start with unloading. So if I were to get this firearm handed to me by somebody, I'm going to naturally assume that the firearm is loaded. So if the bolt were in the forward position, what I'm going to want to do is lock that bolt to the rear. So by locking the bolt to the rear, that's going to allow me access to visually inspect the chamber to make sure that it is not loaded. But it's a little bit tricky to do that with your standard M4. So what you have to do is take your left hand, come underneath the magazine or around the magazine so that I can push down on the bolt catch lever. Then I'm going to use the charging handle, pull it to the rear, push it back up. That will go ahead and lock the action open so that I can look inside the chamber and visually inspect to let you know that it is unloaded. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab a magazine that is loaded with dummy rounds. Now, there's a couple of ways that we can hold on to the magazine. The first is what we call a beer mug. So in a beer mug grip, what I basically have is my pinky is located on the bottom of the magazine, the rest of my fingers are wrapped around. The next is a C-clamp. The C-clamp is a very powerful positioning for my hand here. It allows me to grip it firmly and push up and pull down. The other one is going to be more of a pistol style, which I don't recommend because as these magazines get a little bit heavier with a full load, they can be challenging to hold on to. So I'm going to go ahead and use a beer mug grip. Now the reason why I like the beer mug or the C-clamp is because once I insert the magazine, it allows me to give a firm tug. That firm tug is going to ensure that the magazine is firmly seated. Now, to charge the action, I have two options. I could hit the bolt catch or I could pull back on the charging handle. It's user preference, but if my hand is already in proximity to the magazine, that means that it's pretty close to that bolt catch, and I can just hit it forward with my thumb. Now, I regrip with two hands, and I should be ready to fire or whatever my next action would be. To unload, I want to start by removing that magazine. I'll go ahead and insert it into a pocket or just stage it down on the ground. Next, eject that round by pulling back on the charging handle and release. I need to reconfigure my hand position so that I can lock the bolt to the open position. Then I'd visually check that chamber. Now, one of the nice things about an M4 rifle is that the magazines come in a staggered condition, which means that they're going to go from the left side to the right side. Before I load, if I notice that the magazine has the top round on the right-hand side, as I go to load, I remove the magazine, I'll notice that the round is now on the left-hand side. And what that visual confirmation does for me is it tells me that the round was loaded from the magazine into the chamber, and I know that the rifle is ready to fire. To unload, remove that magazine, go ahead and stow it, eject the round, reposition your hands, lock the action open, visually inspect that chamber, and now you're good to go. All right, I'm Jeff Gonzalez. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them down below. Until then, take care and stay safe.